Hello folks. So in this video we're going to see how to deploy your application using MongoDB, and an application that is using MongoDB, and we are going to deploy this application to Heroku. So let's get started. So we want to deploy this application to the cloud, to the internet. So we need to run a MongoDB server in the internet. So you could do that in multiple ways. One of the easiest ways is to just get a service that is already providing you this feature of running a MongoDB server and just providing you how to connect to it, and that's it. Um, that's it's called managed database or managed service. So they take care of everything, and you just need to tell them, hey, I need this, and you can pay them, or there are some free services with some limits. So I am in MongoDB.com, and you can see that they provide MongoDB free in the cloud, meaning the internet, and you can start free. So you can go ahead and try to create an account and get started. So I already have an account, and I'm not going to sign up. Instead, I need to sign in. Or I could just stop this and just sign in. Login Google. Okay, I'm in. Now, so I need an application that is going to use this database so that you can see that it all works. And I can also show you that I can connect to this database from my local. So, yep. Now, this is the sample application that I have. It's a Node.js application. So I am currently working in this cool company called ThoughtWorks, and I'm in the Chennai city. And ThoughtWorks is in Chennai city. So this is ThoughtWorks Chennai GitHub repository, GitHub organization, and this is a repository. So I'm going to use this sample repo. It's for an hiring workshop. It's a workshop, and it is an API that uses MongoDB. So here is the application that we're going to use, and this has some features like users signing up using the API. This is completely an API. There is no UI, user interface. So users can sign up, and then you can see some products and whatnot, right? So this application I've already set it up in such a way that it can run in any environment by just configuring it. For example, configuring the port, or like configuring the Mongo URL. So I can easily run this on the internet, like maybe in this case it will be Heroku. So I can easily run it on Heroku. And I just need to provide some environment variables, and Heroku can understand Node.js, so it can run it. It can install the dependencies and run it, and MongoDB I will get from MongoDB.com. So now before we deploy it to the internet, to the cloud, I would first show it to you in the local. So anytime you want to run something in the internet, before that I would highly recommend you to try it out in your local machine, to see if it works and stuff like that. So in a very basic minimal setup, right, with minimal data. So I have MongoDB running over here on the left, and I have the MongoDB shell running on the right. So I can check what is the database I'm on. So actually currently there is only 3 databases. So this database is actually the database of the application that is going to get created. It's not yet created, if you can see here. If you can see the show collections, actually there is nothing over here because the database does not exist. So now I'm going to run this application. So if you can see in the proc file, you can run this application with npm start. Okay, I'm just going to do npm start, and let's see. Okay, so I think I'm not given the right MongoDB URL, Mongo URL. Okay, so I have to give the right MongoDB URL. The default is actually different. Yeah, so the default is actually pointing to a host called Mongo, which does not exist in my case. But this will exist when you deploy using Docker Compose. So there is a different way to deploy. But I'm just going to go ahead and deploy using just my machine and no Docker. So I can just say this URL. So this is similar to any connection string. So you have the protocol, and then you have the, I mean, there is no username and password in this case, and then host colon port, and then slash the MongoDB name, database name, and npm start. So this environment variable is being used inside the code. So now to run this application, you can just do localhost, and so there is a Swagger API for this. So I can run that. Yep. So it's an example retail store API. So it has a lot of APIs. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign up. So I'm going to say I'm going to sign up with email ID this and password this, and I get the response 201, and I can see some logs in my application. So this is all in my local, okay, and I cancel this and stop this. So I know the username and password. I log in now. I try this out, and I can log in. And I get a token for login. This is a JSON web token, JWT, and I can use this to authorize myself. So if I try to get products, right, if I want to list the products in this retail store, it will tell me that tells me 200. But basically, for me to get all the products, I need to actually be authorized. So close, and I've authorized myself. So now I execute again, and there are no products. Right. Looks like something's missing. Let me check. So let me go ahead and check what is in the database now. Since I signed up, at least my details should be there in the database. So I am in API demo. I say show collections, and I can see users. So I can say db.users, find one maybe. So I can see my email ID and password, and looks like the products is missing over here. Let me see why is that the case. Product. That's a weird thing. Anyways, but as you can see, I have actually logged in and signed up and logged in. So I mean, the sign up created this data, and you can actually see other data also over here. So the thing to note is that I'm going to actually deploy this application on the cloud. So okay, so here you can see that I'm not authorized. Maybe if I authorize myself now, oh, I'm actually authorized. Anyways, looks like I need some sort of access, higher level access. Anyways, now with this, let's go to the cloud. So I'm going to stop the local server, and I'm going to stop the local thing. And to deploy this to the cloud on Heroku, I'm going to actually go to mongodb.com and like create a cluster. Okay, and while building a cluster, you can, I mean, when you say create cluster, um, you have different options. I'm going to go ahead and choose the free option. So these are paid with different features, actually a lot of features. But I'm going to use a free option wherein you have a shared cluster, meaning you are sharing this cluster with multiple other people, I guess. So now we have this free cluster, and it's going to create it. So it looks like we have a lot of options for that. That is cool. I'll choose AWS. Okay, I'll choose Mumbai because I'm in India now, and it's pretty close for me. And cluster tier, this is the free. These are paid. So it's a shared RAM. Storage is 512 MB, and the CPU is shared. V is virtual CPU, and no backup. So if you okay, so M0 backup is not included. That's fine. Cluster 0 is the name. That's okay. And create the cluster. So the defaults are fine. And I'm just going to create the cluster. this should be ready in a minute, I guess. It says 1 to 3 minutes. And you can see, they provide some ways to connect and some metrics and what collections are there and like command line tools. I guess from the local you can connect, so probably for that. This is taking quite some time. Let me try going out to a different page and going back. Okay. I was just checking if the loading was not right on the user interface, but I guess it's loading right. Okay, so it says current action creating a plan. 0 of 3 server. Okay, so it's a cluster actually. So cluster would mean you have more than one node or one system or one computer. I guess in this case it would be a virtual machine, virtual computer, virtual machine, and here is going to be 3 servers and not just one. Provisioning 3 servers and okay. Okay, 3 of 3 servers complete. So currently it's just configuring MongoDB. So once it's configured, I guess it should be available. It's pretty amazing how fast they do all this in 3 minutes. Okay, looks like our cluster is going to be ready soon because I don't see any actions and I'm guessing it's going to be pretty fast now. I just tried to go to a different user interface and try to read on. Okay, cool. So we are up and running. So the cluster is up and you can see some command line tools, how to connect. Looks like I should actually do something. So add my current IP address. Okay. So my IP address has to be whitelisted, allowed to actually get in. Create a database user. Okay. So I'll say Karpaya and I can auto generate a secure password. I'll copy this and create a database user. So looks like I'll have a lot of permissions. Being the first user, I'll have something called Atlas admin, so it's kind of like the admin. So, so it's actually creating the database user. Okay, that's taking quite some time. Okay, looks like I'm stuck. Let me copy this URL and go to the other tab. Okay, So it looks like this is what I need. Yep. And metrics, collections, and upgrade, connect with MongoDB shell, connect your application. Okay. So looks like the password is set, but I'm not sure. So it tells me that this is the password, like replace the password and database name and all that. Driver and like, I think this is the one. Choose a connection method. Yeah. Connection security is over, but this is still stuck. I'm not sure why. Let's try it out, right? I copied the password. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this. Include full driver example. So let's go ahead and put this password here. This was the password, and okay. So this is for different languages. What is my database name though? I don't know what's the database name though. That's weird. Okay, so looks like the connection security is done. Connect using Mongo Compass application and Mongo Shell. So I can actually do Mongo Shell first, and then for my application I need the connection string. Yes, but I don't know what's the database name that connections will use by default. You'll be prompted for the password. The database will entering. Okay. Okay. Okay, now I'm just gonna say API demo for now. I guess it will create the database that I need, or at least just create it when we write to it. So I'm just gonna connect to it like this from here. So let's stop this one and username, and the password is this, and it's connecting and it's connected. Wow, awesome. So as you can see, it gives me details connecting to and all that, and then finally it tells me the server version, and this is the client version, shell version, and this shows that this is a MongoDB Enterprise Edition, the Atlas, and it's I believe shared and primary and all that. Okay, so I'm in DB API demo and show DBs. I have two databases, and let's run our application and get this working, right? So to run my application, I actually need to push this to Heroku. So and then use this URL. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close this one sec. Not okay. Close this, and I'm gonna go ahead and create an application in Heroku. I'm gonna call it Node JS with MongoDB. Let's see if this name is taken or not. Okay, so the name is not taken, and we have taken up the name, and we have the application. Let's reload my dashboard. We have MongoDB. Yep. So now I'm going to actually push this application. Before doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get the MongoDB URL, environment variable name, and I'm going to go ahead and put it here. Okay. Put this value here, and with that we are good to go. So I'll hide this and let's deploy our application and see how it goes. So git remote Mogos and git push to Heroku remote reference and my master branch. So this should deploy my application along with MongoDB, and it's going to be using the MongoDB that I have here. So let's see. So it's actually detecting its Node.js and then installing stuff, and it's actually deployed. Cool. So actually, this application has Swagger. So if you're using Swagger too, I would recommend you to actually not put the host name over here, because in your local the host name is localhost or 127.0.0.1, but in the internet you will get a DNS, a domain like this. So if your Swagger JSON has some hard coded value for host, I would recommend you to make it an environment variable or even remove it as much as possible. So always try to make your application configurable in terms of host, port, and the different services it connects to, using environment variables as much as possible. So with that, we can actually connect to our application, and I can see my Swagger UI, and let me sign up. So let me sign up with my, say, Karupaya, and let's say his password, and let's execute this. So it's connecting to my MongoDB, I guess. We can see the logs of the application using Heroku Logs. So, and you can stream the logs. Actually, there has been an error. So it says MongoDB network error, failed to connect to server on first connect. Okay. I guess there's going to be an issue. Let's actually stream the logs. So follow it. Oops. I guess it's a wrong tail. Okay. Tail logs. So this is keep giving me logs. So there is a 503 servers unavailable. So okay. There's a timeout. Okay. So now let's just see why this wouldn't connect to my MongoDB. What's the reason? So it says failed to connect to server, and it says connection closed. I can see that maybe the number of connections is different. I mean, like limited. Let's see. Let's go to the command and close this. Collections. Oops. I wanted connections. So we want configuration. Does this say anything about the connections, number of connections? 500 max connections. Okay, so we have a lot of connections. That's good. So I'm not going to configure anything. Okay. That's weird. Let's also double check the config from here. So it is what I had given here. Is this the same as what I've given here? For example, API demo and username colon password and host colon. Okay, I think this is good. It's just that I've also given this, but this is just extra configuration or metadata. That's weird. It's the same non-existent property. Current service discovery is deprecated, will be removed. Okay, filter demo. Maybe I can try to restart my application. Let me try that and see if it works out. Um, hmm. I can't find any way to do that here, so maybe I'll just do it here. Um, so, hmm. So we have deploy here. Um, hmm. Dinos. That's weird. Okay, cool. So it shows me this is present here. Um, what I could do is I could trigger a deploy manually, or and I can't find how to do that. Or what I could do is I could stop the server and that would stop the logs. So stopping all processes. And then I can start it off again and see how it goes. Ideally, it should be able to connect to the MongoDB server. If it's not, there's some other configuration issue. Okay, so it's still not able to connect. Let me also check what is the MongoDB server version that I have here. So I connected this way and provided the password. So it's 441. The MongoDB server version is 4211. Um, in my local, I had a different server version, I guess. So here I had 441 server and 441 shell. Okay, that is weird. Let me also check what MongoDB recommends in terms of connecting. So connecting from application include a full driver code example. I have Node.js driver version. I'm not sure which Node.js driver version I have. I'm gonna have to check that. So MongoDB, Mongoose. I have Mongoose, which is 5.7.5. So these people recommend giving a MongoDB URL like this. Yep. So that's what I've done here in my settings. Okay. MongoDB and this. Okay. And if it's older clients, you have to mention a lot of stuff. Okay. Let me also check what Mongoose does. Is it possible that it has actually connected to the database, but it's showing just some stuff? Show databases. Oh, no, it's not created yet. The API underscore demo is not created yet. That's weird. Um, so the driver version is built on the official MongoDB driver version, and I'm guessing the driver version is not a problem. Anyways, a friend of mine actually deployed this same application. We both deployed. So it's actually running here, and it's going to take a few seconds to come up. In the meanwhile, let me just so yeah, this is my friend's uh, deployed version. So this is what we just deployed, Node.js with MongoDB. So this is pretty much working. I mean, but yeah, you have to be authorized to get the okay, you don't have to be authorized anyways, but yeah, this is pretty much working. um, I need to check why the current version is not working. This is a weird thing. I'm just going to go ahead and try this out and see what we get. Connection 5 to server closed. Um, okay, so it's an issue with whitelisting of IPs. Okay, so in my case, I was able to connect to the server because I had whitelisted my IP. So it's a issue with whitelisting of IPs. So let me see if I can actually disable that. Database access. Uh, Edit. Um, Network access. Edit. Allow access from anywhere. Confirm. And now let me actually try to hit my application again. Uh, so I guess I should have seen this coming. I did kind of see this coming when I saw that there is a whitelisting of IPs for users. So we have two users currently. One is our application and the other is ourselves. The application is a programmatic access from the cloud from Heroku, the deployed application, and us is from our local from Mongo shell, right? So now if I try to actually do this, uh, you should be able to see things working or not. Looks like the connection to MongoDB happens only the first time. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this and instead restart the application over here uh, by just so you can go to resources and stop the application and confirm and then start the application again, and this time it should just work. So it basically does a scaling. You can also scale your dynos from the command line. So it's actually running. So and the migration is complete. This time there are no errors. There are some basic warnings, but yeah. Now if I go to my application Node.js with MongoDB and reload this. And now if I try it out, I should be able to see the user created, and well, that was user@email.com. Now since the user has been created, you should be able to also see the database here, show collections. You can see products and users, and if you actually say get all products, execute this, you can see products coming up here, and you can see the logs over here in your application with Heroku Logs -t. And you can also check what this data is, db.users, say find one, and you can see that user@email is present over here. Maybe I can sign up as Karpaya or something here, and you can execute this, and you can see just find one. I can say email is karupaya@email.com. So you can see my username coming up here. So you can only find one with find one function. So that was that, and you can log in and get a JWT token here. So yep, our application is running in the cloud in Heroku using MongoDB Atlas, and beware of this about the whitelisting of addresses. So what this does is it allows all IP addresses to access your MongoDB cluster. The reason for allowing all was mostly because it would take some time for me to understand what is the IP address of my application running in Heroku. It is easy to find my own IP in the local. So I just allowed every IP address, every system in the world to actually access this MongoDB if they have the username and password, of course. So yeah, that was it, and that's how you deploy your application using MongoDB Atlas, and in this case we also deployed it to Heroku. Yep, that's all for this video, and see you in the next video, and we'll be looking at a different way to deploy our applications. And that in the next videos we'll be not seeing Heroku but probably a different service. So yep, see you in the next videos. Bye bye.